What's up everyone, John from Beyond ARTV. Welcome back to another episode of 7 on Sunday. Today I'm going to be talking about my 7 favorite 1975 songs. Keep in mind that these are just my personal favorites. Don't be too offended if something that you love didn't make the list. Also remember that I'm going to be including honorable mentions in the description down below. If that intro seemed weird to you, you probably won't get it unless you saw my review of their most recent album, I Like It When You Sleep, so you can find that linked in the description down below along with my review of their self-titled record. The 1975 are a UK-based rock, alternative, pop, electronic band, lots of different styles meshed into one band, and I really like what they're doing. I really enjoyed their debut, and of course loved their most recent album, my favorite of the year so far, I Like It When You Sleep, for you are so beautiful yet so unaware of it. Now keep in mind, on my main channel I am doing top 10 countdowns for certain artists, but my rule of thumb for that is that you have to have at least 3 albums under your belt. And while the 1975 do have plenty of EPs that they put out, 4 to be exact, only 2 studio albums. So eventually I will do a top 10 for them, assuming that they do put out a 3rd record, but as of now, I'm just going to be talking about my 7 favorite songs by this band. If you enjoy this episode of 7 on Sunday, leave a like on the video. Let me know what other artists you'd like to see me do this with in the future. Of course, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any of the future uploads. And if you're curious, you can support me on Patreon. Help 7 on Sunday and other great series right here on Beyond ARTV continue. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy the countdown. My first pick is Robbers, off of their 2013 debut. It's mind-bending to just think about that it's been almost 3 years since that record dropped, at least at the time of recording this video. I remember really loving not only the album in general, but this is one of those tracks that maybe didn't stand out to me right at first, but the more I played it, the more I just felt the emotion in that track. The slow and steady guitar and Matthew Healy's just voice on this track, almost just crying out, "Give me one more," and it's just, it does something for me. It's very moving, and Healy has this gift with his voice where he's able to take you into his world and make you see what he's feeling. And with this track, it's kind of a portrayal. If you watch the music video, you saw a little preview play right before I started talking about it, you can see that it kind of plays out what he's talking about. And I feel like there are several interpretations of this track, but basically getting into trouble with the love of your life, running away together, doing things that maybe you shouldn't be doing, but at the same time, that love is at the center of it. I love just kind of the stirring electronic sounds that open up this track. They kind of grow to a whir, louder and louder before the drums start clicking in, and of course Healy's vocals on this track got a hell of a chorus that really just makes you feel the feels.
And who's he giving you the lips? I've never seen him walking about. He looks just like me, but 6'3", so I reckon you can knock him out. Well, I think I say a couple of words if you don't mind. I never really go on with your bird the first time I met her out, just now, and telling everybody you were shagging about.
The programming on this track is just so good. I just groove out to this. If I'm driving at night, this is one of my go-to songs. In fact, I might do a 7 on Sunday very soon. 7 songs that are perfect to drive to, or some iteration of that, because Menswear might have to make the list once again for another 7 on Sunday episode. This track is so solid. I'm not usually a huge fan of their instrumental tracks, but this is one that obviously has vocals in it as well. Starts off with like maybe almost 2 minutes of this instrumental kind of laid-back vibe, building up an atmosphere, and the 1975 are so good at creating an atmosphere. Nobody is fucking with their aesthetic. Healy seems like he kind of has his confidence shaken on this track. He's like sizing up maybe this new love interest of his former flame, or maybe it's somebody that his current flame is starting to have her eyes on, and he's not exactly sure what she's thinking about. And I love the kind of talk sing style, the programming, the manipulation of the voices that are going on in the background, a lot of distortion there. Kind of a noisy track in a way. It's like a chaos and a calm. It's a weird effect applied. And as he's singing about these things, I love it. He's like sizing this guy up. He's saying, who's he? It looks just like me, but 6'3", saying basically he feels insecure almost because maybe this guy's better, or maybe he knows that this guy is better for her, a better partner, better looking, etc., whatever it may be. And that's what I was talking about with having his confidence shaken here. Just a really, really solid tune. I love how it starts off as just this instrumental track, but builds into something so much more. Something I did not notice about Girls for the longest time, the keyboard part during the chorus of this track. It is outstanding. The first 6 months though, I just totally tuned it out for whatever reason. It's like I knew it was there, but I didn't really focus on anything other than the guitars. And obviously, the guitars on this track are catchy as hell. This is a fun song, but we cannot overlook the importance of that keyboard. Steady, rollicking, bumping during the chorus of this thing, making it even more fun. Especially whenever you turn it up loud in the car, you're rocking out with your friends, singing along. It's a fun song, and I think that there's more to it than just like, oh, you know, it's girls out there breaking hearts. It's like maybe thinking like, oh, I got this one night stand, or I hooked up with this girl, and then slowly it starts off becoming more and more serious. And this is referenced on another song on a future album, I Like It When You Sleep, and I like that they kind of connect albums. There's like a bridge between it. They're talking about similar situations, but this track in general saying, you know, maybe this one night stand turned into her moving into your house. You know, what happened to just messing around?
The Greek economy of cash and intellectual checks, and I'm trying to progress, but instead of selling sex, and I think I should be.
I said it in my review and I'm gonna say it again. Loving Someone is one of the 1975's best songs. It's not just talking about loving someone, loving as in a relationship. You should be loving what you do, something, someone, paying attention to what's going on around you and not just being enveloped and lost in your own little world. Loving someone obviously can be applied to several different situations, but the main thing that I really noted about this track right off the bat is the killer instrumental. I love how it starts off just kind of wavering and almost a little bit flaky, a little bit shaken, and this track gets into those vocal manipulations. I love it whenever it goes down the scales there and then slowly adds in those keyboards that add more and more to this track. But it starts off as just very, very atmospheric, very raw. Healy's voice on this thing just slowly grows and gets stronger and a little bit more passionate and energetic. There's a lot of charisma behind this track, and like I said, once those keyboards really start to explode, we see what all this song has to offer. I can't say that it is one of the most popular songs off of the album, but you're doing yourself a disservice if you aren't listening to it regularly. This album has been on repeat, and this is the track that I come back to every time, even if I'm not listening to the full album. Let us praise the EPs. Although I was not a huge fan of all of them, there were such killer songs that came off of them and later made it onto their debut album. Unfortunately, Milk was not one of those. It was considered a hidden track. It's short, it's only about 2 minutes, just over 2 minutes in length, but it is easily one of the best things that they have ever done. Once again, we see them kind of relating a drug to something else. Chocolate was one that made that very, very popular, and Healy kind of has a tendency to go towards that. Milk, I think, being kind of a reference for cocaine, both being white as a substance, but being applied to something else. Healy is talking about this girl that has clearly become addicted to cocaine, drug problem, trying to forget this ex-lover, and we see these big guitars really kicking in as he sings, and now she's basically, instead of it just being a thing that she does here and there, alcohol's not strong enough anymore, and she's doing it all the time, and the guitars really just power along. And you think about it at surface level and you think, oh, this is a catchy song, song, I'm not really sure. You're singing along and how she's doing it all the time. You're thinking, oh, what is she doing all the time? Partying, having fun? No, she has a serious drug problem, and Healy is saying that even though he's probably attracted to this girl, could be interested, she's too hung up on her ex, and of course now trying to drown out these old thoughts with a drug, and that is becoming a huge problem for him. She's talking about all these other things that maybe she wants to do. She's talking about missing this guy, but instead she's just doing more and more coke. And I really, really love the opening line on this thing because it can be applied in a couple of different situations. Straight lines, they unwind you. Maybe living the straight and narrow life. Maybe just doing as you're told for too long and submitting in a relationship, whatever it may be. And straight lines also being like what you would lay out with like a razor and cocaine to snort up your nose. It's something that could be applied, like I said, a couple of different ways, and it makes me think. Each time I listen to it, I'm wondering exactly what the intention was behind it. And I think this song is so very special in their discography. Not a ton of people know about it. It was only on the UK edition of the Sex EP, so I definitely recommend going to check it out if you haven't heard it and you're a 1975 fan. Obviously, I Like It When You Sleep has been on repeat from time to time since the album came out. That doesn't happen to me too much, but this album just really sunk its hooks in, pulled me back time and time again to listen. And the change of heart, even with those auto-tuned cat meows during the chorus, just kept getting me back for more. It's such a good song. It's talking about somebody who's basically just falling apart, it seems like, not really knowing how to take care of themselves maybe after people went their separate ways. They're seeing each other again. You know, she's saying, you look shit, you smell a bit, or you look fit, but you're losing it. And I love those lines. It's something that I love the narration, how it kind of switches from not only Healy himself, but to his former partner. And he's saying, once again, these things that reference the first album. You used to have a face straight out of a magazine. Now you just look like anyone. And he's having this change of heart. He's having a revelation, and that seems like something that's happening a whole lot on I Like It When You Sleep, for you're so beautiful, yet so unaware of it. A change of heart, just a perfect song, I feel like. It's got a little bit of everything. It's got synthesizers, it's got some guitar subtly lining the background of this track, and some steady drumming and programming on this track that just make it all so worthwhile. Let's talk about sex, because apparently that's all I do. The 1975 came through with the Sex EP, and I am including the EP version of the song because it is better in my mind. It is not as overtly produced. I feel like there were a few extra additions on the album version, and the intro was a little bit different. I don't care for it as much, so the EP version, just to be clear, is the one that is landing at #1 on my favorite 1975 songs list. If you're familiar with the 1975's music, a lot of it is very sexual, and sex is obviously the purest form of that, just being very straight up and blunt about what he's going through, what he's dealing with. She's got a boyfriend anyway. He's with this girl. They have sex sometimes, maybe when she gets bored, maybe when her boyfriend's out of town. He's connected to her a little bit more than she is to him, but at the same time, he has feelings. He's not exactly sure what they are. He's trying to figure it all out, but this is easily the 1975's best song in my opinion. So guitar driven, not to say that there aren't other things going on in the background here, but that guitar steadily drives the whole time, and it is such a force of nature to be reckoned with. It is hard to beat this track. In fact, it's one of my favorite songs of all time. Have different choices for your top favorite 1975 songs? Let me know about them in the comments section down below. I hope you appreciate my aesthetic game, white on pink, because the new album and such, you know, I like to do what I can to please the fans, so drop a like on this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because friends don't let friends go unsubscribe. Of course, like I was saying earlier, I do have a Patreon account. If you would like to help these videos keep coming, you can help support in that top link in the description down below. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, everything like that. The links are in the description. If you would like to see the last 7 on Sunday or another video that I did on this channel, then you can click those little annotations. Other than that, I'll see you very, very soon right here on Beyond ARTV.